Hi guys, from BeatSkillz, and I'm absolutely thrilled to bring you the new plugin Slam Pro. Now, many of you who've known about our brand knew that we started our company with the popular Slam Dog, and Slam Dog did really well. People really love it. So, Slam Dog is still available, and in our current promotions, once you buy Slam Pro for our intro price, you also get Slam Dog free. But anyway, I want to tell you about this plugin and the analogy. So Slam Pro is basically uh, a more detailed version of Slamdog, but it's a completely new plugin. It's a rewrite, and it has completely new algorithms, sounding even better than anything we've done before. Uh, because a lot of the analog emulation stuff that we did is now implemented. Now the whole focus of our company is to make products which make your workflow faster, because as we make more music and we have more tracks to deliver, uh, we know the sweet spots of certain things. Like we know how compression is, and there's certain ratios and certain parameters which make compression sound better on the mix bus, and certain other ones which make your instrument sound better. So the idea is to give you a simple interface, which has always been the idea, but to give you very powerful and very good sounding uh, processing inside this plugin. Now we know that people are emulating plugins now for like 10 years. They're making the same emulations over and over and over. We haven't really moved forward. So with these plugins, we want to take what we've learned from analog and then use the infinite universe of digital, which is to do anything that you want to do, to create workflows, to create systems which sound good and make you feel good. So once there's a product which makes you feel good, makes your music sound great quickly, the more inspired you are to write tracks better. And the more lost a musician gets in tweaking parameters and adding chains of plugins, it kind of takes away from that first step, that first enjoyment that one experiences when one is starting to write a track in music. So, our whole idea is to aid electronic musicians today, no matter what genre you are, like whether you're doing EDM or you're doing hip hop or trap or dubstep or even acoustic or classic music or jazz, anything. Uh, this plugin is what will get you there really, really quick, because it is accumulation of essential processes designed to work in a chain that always sounds good and gives you enough control, yet not the clinical kind of parameter variation or tampering that leads you to be very clinical or just like get lost in the whole process finding the spot. We've already found the sweet spots and set them up for you, and I'm absolutely sure that you're going to love this plugin. And hence we also have like a 15-day trial. So once you download the trial, it's 15-day fully functional. There's no silence, there's no noise, there's nothing. You can use it on your tracks, try it out completely, make sure this is something you like, and only then purchase it if you really really want it. Okay, so let me tell you a bit about the plugin. On the left side we have the bass section, uh, like the original, but now we have a sub bass, a thump, and a boom. The sub is a very different kind of control. This is usually meant for people doing sound design for theater. So it's got really low frequencies which you can put out. These are frequencies you might not hear on your smaller studio monitors or even your headphones. So this is really for those people either playing live sets out there in clubs or in big arenas. This can really, be earth-shattering bass to your live set or whatever you're playing. You can really enhance it. The thump, of course, we know is something which increases the presence of your kick drum. It brings it out, adds the thickness to your track. You can also, in this case, decrease it. So if you've got a track with a lot of, kick drum or a lot of thump, which is kind of not suitable, you can pull it down a bit. Then we have the boom. The boom is awesome for sub basses and for those 808s and stuff that you really want to hit your chest and like really fill your music up with. This is what you can increase to do that. Again, if you have too much of it already, you can pull it down using the negative side of this control. Next, we go on to heat. Heat is our saturation distortion section, but this is again a complete rewrite. This is awesome because it's got three hardware emulations we've done. So three flavors of tube, both of British gear and American tube gear. Three completely different, distinct flavors. You can add as much as you want. Another thing I want to say is that all these controls are very fine, so you can really sweeten your mix by zoning into the spot which works for you. So it's not going to jump values. It's very, very gradual. So you can really go where you want to go exactly with no problem at all. And you've got a nice little tube here which glows as you move this. Three settings. Then we come to airs. Airs, is something which adds presence and clarity to your mix. So we've got three settings. We've got 5K, 10K, and 15. You can choose what you like and then tamper with it, go where you want to go. As you use more compression and stuff, you might want to boost your bass and airs to bring back the presence and clarity into your mix. Or if you're not using too much, you can still bring it at any point into your mix. Then we have the standard input output. These are very fine controls. If you've got a signal which is very weak, you can really boost it so that the plugin can grab the signal. Or if you've got an output which is after the processing got a lot of gain, you can pull it down a bit. Or if you're using a lot of compression using pop and stuff and the gain goes down, you can pull it back up and make up for the lost volume. This is what that does. Then coming to the dynamics section, we have pop, which is our pop compressor, something which adds punch and glue to your entire mix or to tracks. The good news is we now have four settings. You can actually choose four awesome compressor settings. This compressor again is emulated from some top compressors. It will give you a feel of the API 2500, the SSL G series bus compressor. These are favorite compressors people use. It also has some vibe from the LA2 and the 1176. So you can choose four different settings which are completely tuned just with one dial to get you the mix bus glue that you want. No need to worry about a million parameters and what it does. As you hear, you will see that you have control and it's not something that will ever sound bad. You can really choose any flavor, find the setting sweet spot that you want and go with it. This again comes with an on-off switch. You can completely bypass this compressor from this from your rest of the signal processing. And then this pop goes into crush, which is a loudness maximizer. So if you're looking for loud volumes and really punchy mix without bursting your speakers, with the transients being controlled very nicely and giving you apparent volume, so not just peak level but also the entire signal sounds louder on laptop speakers, on phones, on your car speakers, or even outside. This is the control to bring volume and body to your mix. So this is what that does. Again, you can switch it off. This has got a small light here. This is not a switch. This is a light. What it does is that when there is limiting happening, this light will light up and flicker, so you'll know how much you're limiting. So there's a visual response for that as well. This plugin is very visually responsive. We have a lovely view meter here. And even when you're doing gain reduction with pop, you can see the amount of gain reduction here on this meter. So everything is responsive. You can see it. Coming down to the stereo section, this also has an on and off switch. You can bypass the stereo expander or bring it into the mix. That's up to you. Again, this has a crossover slider. What this does is it lets you divide the signal into two bands. And the left band is the X, and you can control its width. Going more left towards M makes that band more mono, and going right makes it more stereo. And the center is pretty much what it was without tampering with it. On the right side, we have Y. So all of this area, say we select 1K, all to the right of 1K to 10 kilohertz is expandable via the Y width. So as much as you increase here, the right side of your mix expands. So people wanted more control because many people want the bass to center. So making the bass center and tight, you can always make it mono, selecting wherever is a sweet spot for you, and then letting the entire rest of the mix be expanded stereo. Again, these are mono compatible. They sound very good, yet it will not create any kind of issues. Yet if you use the stereo, we are using some techniques which when you use the wet and dry using these two, it might not sound as desired for you in some cases. So you got to watch out for that. But on the other hand, if you're going to use the wet and dry, which we've just added, but it's really not something that you might be grabbing because every control has how much of it that you want to add to the mix. So this is something that you can use if you're not using the stereo. We recommend that. If you're using stereo, we recommend you keep it at the wet setting so that your entire mix is very cohesive and tight and cool. So just letting you know what this plugin can do and what its advantages are. Then we've also got a list of presets to get you started. But then, like I say, there's really no need for any presets. This is something that you can use your ear and get the sound you want. We're going to try this first on the entire mix of a passage in a song, and then we will also look at how to use it on certain pianos. how it can work on tracks as well. So let's listen to a mix without the Slam Pro. It already sounds good, but it's got no compression, nothing else on top. So I want to give it the modern compressed sound, which is a very tight sound and got a very nice punchy attack to it. So I've got some settings dialed in, and then we'll tamper with them to see where we can go with it. Yeah, I prefer the first setting of pop. I think that's the right kind of setting to make this glued tight, punchy, yet cut through. Again, I'm not tampering too much with theirs. You get a little bit of 15K boost here, and then we are bringing back the bass with the thump and the boom, doing that, and then we're adding a little bit of distortion. Again, it's very subtle, so I'll dial it in a little bit, and you can hear how it comes in. Even dining a lot gets you a pleasant sound because this is really authentic tube saturation. So it's bringing that grit and that grain to your track, really making it sound like it was sent through some kind of analog preamp or something to warm it up. And that's exactly what it does. Again, we have 3 flavors. You can check them out. And as you heard, the difference was really immense and awesome, wasn't it? Okay, now what we will do is switch this one off and go to a piano sound that we have, and we'll switch over to that Slam Pro. There it is. And let's listen to certain piano. Sorry about that. And let's listen with Slam Pro. It suddenly made it cut through the track. Like you can hear now the difference if we play with and without Slam Dunk, how much this track cuts through. So these are effects which no single plugin can do. Like even if you use a single EQ, you cannot get this kind of sound, which is warm and fuzzy and kind of envelops and compresses the whole thing to fit in. And just one channel strip and so many flavors just from one, bringing you the tube emulation and analog emulation technology without confusing you and without creating time-consuming workflows. This is simple workflow. You can use it on channels, you can use it on the whole mix. And then let's switch it back on the mix and let's see how awesome our mix sounds. If I can say so myself, this is really a magical plugin. And again, try it for yourself. Don't take my word for it at all. Just try it on your tracks. And if you think that it's really doing something good to your workflow and to your tracks, then go for it. Else, you can leave it alone, not a problem. But we'll be happy that you tried it out. So thanks again for watching and checking a quick run through of Slam Pro. And I'll catch you guys again on the BeatSkillz channel. See you. Ciao.